In the studio with me is somebody I just met for the very first time, and I don't say that often during this broadcast because I spend a lot of time at camp. I spend a lot of time talking to people, but Julia Connor is the UVM Medical Social Worker. Now, Julia, you're the one who, after the family sits down with the pediatric oncology folks and they're sitting there shell-shocked, you're the next person they talk to, really, right?
That's typically how it goes, yeah.
Yeah. So how did you get into this line of work?
Well, I've worked at UVM Medical Center in the Children's Hospital for a few years. And when the social worker, Adam Fortune, who was the pediatric oncology social worker, moved on to a different role, I took over for him about a year and a half ago. And I'm loving it.
It's a great job. It's a challenging job because you're dealing with families that have just had. I discussed it with Dr. First the other day. It really is a PTSD situation, right? You've had a bomb dropped into your life.
Yeah, I mean, it's never something that families expect. They're going about their lives. Things are normal, and then this happens, and it really is earth-shattering for families and for kids too. So helping families kind of pick the pieces up and move forward and help support them along the way is really the biggest part of my job.
And there's some things that you can do. There's some things the doctors can do. And then there's things that camp does, right?
That's right. So, when families are in the hospital or when they're coming to our clinic, they have our team there to support them. It's so important to us that they have teams that are supporting them in their community when they go home, their school communities, and then camp is the huge one. I don't know of any other place where kids and families can go where every other child there, every other sibling, every other parent there has been impacted by pediatric cancer. It's a really special support system for our families, and we're so grateful that Camp TaKumTA exists. It's a huge part of why we feel comfortable having our families out in the community, and we're really thankful.
So how much have you had a chance to watch Camp TaKumTA in action?
So we have a really special thing in our clinic, which camp brought to us. It's a virtual reality headset, which is amazing. So we had talked about how to help campers who might be a little bit nervous about going to camp, or parents who might be a little bit anxious about sending their kids to camp, or kids who are in the hospital and aren't able to get to camp. So Camp TaKumTA folks brought us this virtual reality headset, and it allows kids and their families to experience camp from the hospital or from clinic.
Like a 3D kind of thing.
It's incredible. And the first time they brought a bunch of them to our staff meeting, and it was hilarious to see our team sort of wearing them, and everyone's moving their heads around, and because
awesome.
You can turn and look up and down and see everything. It's an amazing way for families to first experience camp before they get there.
Yeah, I know some of the kids who are diagnosed at a very young age get to become part of like a play group and then work their way up to becoming campers. Future Camper program. These are all programs that didn't exist when we started doing this broadcast. It was just 6 days. Drop your kids off at the hospital, and then school buses would whisk them away. You'd see them a week later, and the kids had no idea what they were getting into, and neither did the parents. But now there's this slow ramp up where they sort of experience camp in little dribs and drabs.
It's true, and I can't say enough about the Future Campers program that helps kids who are young and sort of on their way to being at that camp age get a taste of what camp is like. The programs that they have for siblings and for parents are so incredible, and they really wrap around the entire family, which is what families really, really need.
And how do you see the camp experience helping your job out?
Well, I always feel a little more confident sending a family home when I know that they have been connected to Camp TaKumTA. It's a huge support for them, and I know that sometimes it takes families a little while to get there, and that's okay. I think once they get there and meet other families and the folks at camp, it's just a huge support in their lives, and it's a huge thing for our program. We're really, really happy that camp exists.
863-1051 or 1-800-501-9565. We're talking to Julia Connor. She is the UVM, I guess you're part of the University of Vermont Children's Hospital. Is that who you're assigned to? And you're the social worker, which it means a lot of different things to different people, but really you're the one there to help shepherd these people through I almost want to say the spiritual side of being a cancer patient. I mean, there's the medical side, which is all needles and chemo and all of that, but there's a mental side to this. There's a spiritual side to this, right?
That's right. And, anything from helping parents with FMLA paperwork to communicating with kids' schools to supporting siblings in the hospital.
You mentioned FMLA. Camp is free to these families.
Yes.
How important is that? What do you see on your side of things when a family has a child with cancer?
It's really important that this camp remain free for kids and families. The financial toll is not something that is often talked about when we think about pediatric cancer. Oftentimes, parents have to take unpaid leave from work. Some parents end up leaving their jobs because the treatment plan is rigorous. They're at the hospital, whether inpatient or frequently coming to clinic. It's a huge burden. And I think about our families who live, either around the corner or in Malone and Messina, New York. It's a huge burden for families to take on.
One of the things that we learned early on, Mark and I working with the kids at Camp TaKumTA, is when we do a camp event, we often see the middle class and upper middle class families of these children, and it's easy to get in your mind that, they're all like this, but cancer knows no socioeconomic bounds. There are kids getting cancer from very poor families. There's it's single moms, single dads. It's tough on everybody.
That's true. Yeah, cancer impacts everybody, and so it's really important that we have the resources and the supports to offer families that everybody can access.
Julia, thank you so much for coming in this morning, and thank you for doing what you do. You're a big part of the same thing that camp is doing, and it's huge that you're there as a resource for these families. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
It must be rewarding work.
I love it. It's
awesome.
Great.
Thank you so much. It's cool to send a kid to Camp TaKumTA for Christmas. Julia, can you read the phone numbers for everybody so that they know what to call there?
Sure. 863-1051 or 1-800-501-9565.